Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Nick Lafferty. I run growth marketing at Profound. I'm joined by Mike and Aleyda, and we're going to have just, frankly, a very casual discussion on the state of AI search. And so to kick us off, Aleyda, my first question to you is, what do you think are some of the wrong assumptions that people are making about AI search and the space in general right now?
I believe that potentially the first one is to treat it as we have traditionally treated traditional search, expecting the same things, same KPIs, same goals, very performance-oriented, right? We know that decisions are made in LLMs, in AI platforms right now, although the final conversion is not yet made there. However, this is all shifting as we speak. Like we have seen the latest releases from AI Mode with a much bigger integration with shopping feeds, product knowledge graph, and so on. So more and more, this will shift to make it also conversion-oriented, performance-driven type of platform for certain verticals, like shopping, for example. We already see this with ChatGPT as well. But the mistake is to just extrapolate the metrics, extrapolate the expectations, the goals, and the strategy as well. And of course, I see a lot of comments saying, oh, but it's not even the 1% of the traffic yet on my side and the conversions, right? But realistically, is that all what you should expect? What about the impact in the purchasing journey that you're not yet able to measure because we're not yet, unfortunately, there? There are tools and platforms that are trying to fill that gap, thankfully, right? But yes, I believe that is the main mistake right now. There are others, but that is the basic one, the one that will generate, I would say, more issues and challenges later on in the process.
Cool. Mike, what do you think?
So I agree with that. These AI services are way more branding channels than they are performance channels. But I think the bigger problem is that people are treating it like it's just SEO. Just because there are similar or overlapping tactics does not mean the channel is the same. And even if those tactics are similar, they are strategically different, right? And like think about it. There's plenty of things that have the same tactics but have different value exchanges. So think about link building, fundraising, outbound sales, digital PR or PR in general. They all use the exact same tactics. You build a list, you write some form letters, you send a bunch of emails until you get whatever outcomes you want. But no one is conflating those as the same thing. Whereas in the SEO community, we're like, oh yeah, same tactics, it must be the same thing. Well, here's the thing, think about this, right? Imagine you take your approach to like how you're showcasing your pricing on your website. A lot of people don't show their pricing on their website, and they do that on purpose because they drive people to their website in order to convert them. But then in the AI environment or AI search environment, if you don't provide your pricing, they're going to go out to the web and grab it from other places, and you lose the opportunity to control how your brand shows up in these surfaces. So that's a completely different framework of thinking about things strategically, even though those are the same tactics that you might use. And it's also people effectively shooting themselves in the foot by saying like, oh, it's just SEO, just SEO. People think SEO is very not valuable. Even though it is the biggest referral channel on the web, people think it should be free traffic. People are spending trillions of dollars on AI. You want to tell them this is free traffic? Cut it out.
Well, that is more of like a positioning issue or challenge, though, that we have historically in SEO.
We have lots of positioning challenges in SEO.
Yes, but about the challenge that you mentioned before, I agree, but give it a time. I mean, it's just starting. Like, for example, another example of this is like the other platforms, discovery platform, marketing platforms that also need and have a layer of optimization in them. So, for example, optimizing for YouTube. It has its own nature. It's not purely a search engine. It's also a community, social platform as well. But it has a layer of optimization. There are specialists focused on those. Because it's so mature right now, so much more different from the start in the layer or in their UI or layer optimization and engagement and so on. Like YouTube SEO is a thing. Then ASO, App Store optimization is a thing. So it's considered its own channel. It's given its own budget. The specialists focus on that only. That are not, and it's not conflated with
Sure,
SEO for
but
traditional search.
why
But
can't we
it
learn
is-
from that already?
Yes, but because we're just starting. Give it a time, give it a go. It needs to mature, it needs to evolve over time.
Right, but we've had YouTube SEO, we've had all those things. We've gone through this a number of times. Why are we starting at less than 0 right now?
Yeah.
Why can't we just start from 10?
I believe it's because of the reliance at the end of the day, because of RAG on search indexes. And this is where it conflates, and this is the starting point, right? This is what we already know. And all these new areas of uncertainties that people still need to figure out. Unfortunately, we don't have the data from the platforms, which is a big challenge, by the way. And I posted the other day like a little bit of a cardboard signature, like, please, we need data, OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, in order to better understand the impact and to better, like the impact of sentiment, of visibility, and so a lot of these other metrics that we are not, like, well, literally like used to work with in SEO. And we will need to open up for those SEOs who are willing to adapt and evolve. I'm sure that there are others that won, and that's completely fine as well. I mean, we're all evolving. I believe that, give it a time. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, and so on that note, I know, Mike, you mentioned that people are spending trillions of dollars on AI. We know everyone I talk to, from VPs, CEOs, investors, all care a lot about AI search and the space right now. And so kind of one of my hot takes right now is that some SEOs are fumbling the bag. There's never been more interest in SEO, AI search, and like the job that SEOs have been doing historically and how positioned they are to be a thought leader, be the established source of truth within their company on all things AI. Because for them, it means increased budgets, increased attention, just increase, product velocity. Maybe they finally get access to developers to build the stuff that they want. And so what is both of y'all's take on this? And Mike, I'll start with you. Do you think some SEOs are kind of fumbling this opportunity right now?
I think most SEOs are fumbling this opportunity right now. And the reality is this. Like, we talk about AI search as though it's a separate thing. All search has been AI search for a long time now, at least since like 2017, right? And so being that we're getting all this attention, like you're saying, it's the opportunity for us to get out of the frame of, one, it being free traffic, two, there being such a bad reputation associated with SEO, and three, not getting the resources that you want. Like, pretty much every C-level executive that I deal with is like, so what do you need? Who do you need it from? Do you want a GEO team? And obviously the answer to all that is yes. I don't care what you call it. Just give me what I need so we can get these results. Yeah. And that's it.
Unfortunately, I believe that is because of different reasons, right? There is a group, there is a cohort that is care of change. It has always been like this, unfortunately, in certain scenario situations after major algorithm shifts, and some have even like pivoted to content marketing or PPC or whatever, right? There's a share of that. And there's also a share that I'm afraid that are a little bit more strict and scared of selling it or trying to justify it, and because of the expectations, and they are not so good as evangelizers to managing and shape those expectations to avoid shooting themselves in the foot, which is what they want to avoid in the first place, and having a disgruntled client in a year's time. But I believe, and this is what I am doing, right? I'm leveraging the opportunities to do things that I know for a given that will definitely impact the visibility in AI search, that are very well aligned to, if you have been doing sophisticated SEO for a while, you should have been aligning your activities with other areas like digital PR, like community management as well. Also, if you had in the backlog that client-side render-based implementation of that major navigation, second-level navigation that was not crawlable at all because of issues that were impossible to fix, and now you have the flexibility, thank you very much, to change that because of AI search, go ahead and do that, right? So unfortunately, I believe that there's also this group of SEOs who lack this sort of like level of flexibility and strategic view to advance that way to align what they are doing. I'm afraid because, unfortunately, the reality is that as a community, as an industry, we have never been good at marketing and business.
SEO
right?
is just really bad at business, period. Period.
Well, there's that, and I believe that there's a good way to move forward without overselling, without overhyping, which is why I understand that there's also a share of group that are not even SEO selling the dream of AI is eating everything and changing traditional search tomorrow, and there will be 0 searches in Google happening in 6 months, something like crazy like that, right? Which is the other mistake and the other extreme as well.
And so you think the right, maybe like smart SEOs should be rebranding themselves a little bit? And then if so, like, what do you think that looks like both internally at their company and then maybe externally, like beyond just like putting like SEO / like AEO manager on their LinkedIn profile?
Honestly, I'm very practical. I brand myself and I talk about it and I refer about AI search optimization in the same terms that my clients, right? If they are talking about it as GEO, okay, let's do GEO. I don't care how you call it. I care that we actually, well, it is me who are able to influence it rather than any other area who call it whatever the client or the decision maker is doing. So at this point, because of we are just starting, I am not going to go semantically crazy as like, this is the way, right? I know that there have been some crazy conversations in social media lately in SEO, like, and honestly, it's not a religion talk. It's like, oh, I need to be branded like this, otherwise it's terrible, right? It's bad. No, I mean, we need to be practical. And what I am doing at this point is talking in the same terms than my clients and decision makers and how they are referring to it. So in some cases it's GEO, in other cases is AIO, in other cases is AI search optimization, and I'm sure that in a year it will be different and there will be a much more established term and we cannot agree on that, but so far, yeah.
Okay. Mike, what do you think?
I don't care what we call it. From my perspective, I think that the terminology is limiting across the board, and it needs to be something bigger. Like, SEO never made sense as a term. We were never optimizing search engines. We're also not optimizing generative engines. If anything, we're doing feature engineering on the web as inputs for these different things. Obviously, that's not a title that's going to roll off your tongue. But the whole point is that the work that we are doing is effectively engineering, and the way that we kind of minimize ourselves is by like talking like we're basically mechanics instead.
Okay, awesome. Okay, as we kind of start to wrap up some of these questions, in 18 months, what do you think will separate brands that, one, AI search from maybe those that are fading away or just not being as relevant in all the answers?
It's going to be the ones that break down silos in the organization, because in these channels, it's not just about the copy on your website. It's not the copy just for the page, for the query or prompt that the user typed into the system. They're doing the whole query fan out thing. They're pulling from a variety of things, not just documents. It can be from videos. It can be from audio. It can be from all these things. It's going to be the brands that really go in on omni-channel marketing and really commit to that, even though it's not going to drive traffic, because again, these are branding channels, not primarily performance channels. It's going to be the ones that really commit to that are going to be the ones that win 18 months from now.
The goal for that, and I completely agree, the goal for that is brand recognitions. The ones that will win are the ones that are easily recognizable entities as brands by AI search platforms. And in order to do that, I 100% agree with Mike that we need to align finally, and this is something that we should have been done for a long, long time, break all those silos, work together with digital PR, with understanding, doing keyword research that takes into consideration the unique selling proposition of the brand, the tone of voice, a lot of stuff that, unfortunately, because SEOs have been historically very tactical, they haven't taken into account, unfortunately, but now, finally, this is the time to do that. But also, it's not only about aligning different areas, but being 100% aligned on the vision of what the brand is about. Unfortunately, still today, many companies, probably the bigger one they do, but medium, smaller ones, they don't. What is their unique selling proposition? What is their advantage? What is their edge? How they should be recognized? Why they are better than
Wait. Are you saying they should do marketing?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Thank you very much. Yes. So I believe that us as SEOs, unfortunately, we have lacked historically on even understanding that what they are about, how they should be recognized in order to align everything accordingly. And that is the first thing that we should do now. And then, of course, align all of the resources and areas in order to make sure that this is consistent and easily recognizable and optimized accordingly from a technical, content, promotional standpoint, like citations, links, and so on. Mentions, yes.
Okay. Okay, so one of my last questions is, if you're speaking to an executive in this room, and what is one piece of advice you would give them to help them better navigate this shift to AI search? And specifically, how would you recommend them to maybe like move some pieces internally at their company? What resources should you kind of like direct them to ask for or move around to help position their company to win in AI search?
Yeah, I think measurement is the primary thing that they need to orient themselves around. Because again, to the point that Aleyda's made a couple times, people are still thinking about these as primarily performance channels. And if you do that, you're not going to see a lot of referral traffic. And so what you should be doing is like stratifying your measurement in a way where you can get a sense of what's happening from a brand perspective and from a performance perspective. And the way that we look at it is we break it into 3 different buckets. So we have performance metrics, which are what they've always been. How much referral traffic do you get? What does that do when it lands on your site? And then you have channel metrics, things like share of voice, citation rate, citation quality, things like that, which are really about branding, like how are you showing up? And another thing you should consider is like, even in classic search, when you're thinking about AI overviews, if for a non-branded term, your brand is showing up, that is value. You need to take credit for those impressions because that's the same as what's happening in display, right? Like people aren't necessarily looking for you, but now you are part of their consideration set for that non-branded term. And then the other aspect is what we call input metrics, the things that you can actually impact. So things like, what are your rankings for the synthetic queries? What's your passage relevance scores? What does bot activity look like to different pages across the site? Those are all things that you can directly impact. And so you can show down that cascade where the value was to the company, not just from a traffic perspective.
My main ask to the C-suite is stop obsessing about prompts or those specific metrics or outputs or elements or areas that used to work or used to make sense for SEO indeed, but it doesn't for AI search. For example, we talk about brand recognition and reputation. Well, how do you own that? It's about building your topical authority in your particular vertical, in your particular field, and rather than obsessing about appearing in a few prompts and like, why I'm not here, like without recognizing that these are good to have as a reference to benchmark your topical authority in those areas that actually make sense for your different products or service lines, and have that as an input for assessment rather than obsessing about specific ones because they are highly personalized, they are highly contextualized, and it doesn't make sense anymore. So they need to open up their minds of trying to measure things how they have done historically, right? I have had conversations in the past with in-house SEO saying like, Aleyda, help me build a case because our CEO has asked why we have dropped from position 1 to 2nd in traditional search, right? For this query, right, that they are obsessed about. And now the same is happening with some prompts, right? And that doesn't make sense. And so a lot of evangelization here is needed to open up and shifting, not only from a metric standpoint, goals, the way things are measured. So what I will ask them is to stop obsessing or extrapolating things that they didn't even make sense with SEO, with traditional search, but even less so with AI search, right? So more flexibility and willingness and open-mindedness is needed here to shift metrics and goals accordingly.
Okay. Well, that's all the time we have. Thank you both for joining me, and thank you everyone again for being here.